fires raged through Yellowstone Park during the '88 fire season, 3 organizations in Missoula, Montana were able to make a real difference. Thanks to a computer program developed at the Intermountain Fire Sciences Laboratory, fire managers were better able to predict fire behavior patterns. When, however, firefighters were caught in a violent firestorm, lives were saved thanks to the personal fire shelters developed at the Missoula Technology and Development Center. And throughout the season, emergencies for the northern region were managed and controlled from the aerial fire depot in Missoula. But the influence of these 3 groups is felt far beyond their home base, as government agencies around the country and around the world call upon them to solve specific research, development, and operations problems. Today, these 3 groups are faced with significant problems of their own: aging facilities, overcrowded conditions, inadequate and unsafe work environments all demand a solution. As a result, these 3 distinct yet interrelated organizations have joined together to develop the proposed Missoula Fire and Technology Center. The center will house research, development, and operations in one 39-acre complex on land already owned by the Forest Service. Although each individual unit will retain its own specialized function, specialists will easily be able to share problems and solutions and operational expenses on a daily basis. The research facilities in Missoula were constructed in 1961. Since that time, work at the Intermountain Fire Sciences Laboratory has focused on protecting forests and people from fire and resulting air pollutants. Research includes improving fire behavior predictions, perfecting techniques for using prescribed fires in wildland settings, and improving the use of fire retardants. And it is now investigating more pressing global issues. Global climate change, for example, is a priority research program drawing specialists to the Missoula lab from all over the world for research and information exchange. Currently, the lab cooperates with the National Center for Atmospheric Research, NASA, and the Environmental Protection Agency to determine how fires affect the changing climate of the planet. Maintaining the high caliber of their work has become increasingly difficult. Because of inadequacies with the existing wind tunnels, a larger intermediate range wind speed tunnel is needed. The lack of sufficient storage and test space requires employees to often work in close proximity to dangerous chemicals, creating a potentially hazardous environment.
We're in the hallway outside of the combustion facility here at the fire lab. Besides being a hallway, this is also a storage area. It's where we store fuel beds that are prepared and ready to burn. We also have fuel beds that we make in this area. When we do, this area can no longer be a hallway. We also store fuels of various types that we are conditioning and getting ready for uses with these fuel beds. This can be a real problem because we have the hoist for our wind tunnel is right here. The hoist comes down to put new fuel beds on to raise. If we have just had a fire, we sometimes get sparks coming down along with the hoist. We have not had a problem yet, but these are fine, flashy fuels, and it wouldn't take much to get them started.
In addition to cramped research space, the Data General computer is now crowded into the original shop and garage. But it is not just adequate space that is the problem. The entire facility needs to be brought into the 1990s. Research in today's highly technical world requires state-of-the-art equipment and facilities. The proposed Missoula Fire and Technology Center research additions will include Office Building Addition, Physical Laboratory Addition, Combustion Laboratory and Wind Tunnel, Consolidated Warehouse and Fuel Storage, Greenhouse and Nursery Area Development. In order to respond to increasing national and international concerns, the facility needs at the fire lab must be addressed. The Missoula Technology and Development Center is a world leader in developing innovative, cost-effective methods and equipment to improve the management techniques applied to our nation's natural resources. Firefighter safety and health has been a major component of their work. For example, development of the fire shelter has saved many firefighters' lives.
About the shelters, I'm here, today because of them. I'm really convinced of that. They saved my life and they saved the lives of my crew.
Today's emphasis is to study and develop ways to mitigate the smoke and chemical hazard the wildland firefighter is exposed to on the fire line and in fire camp. MTDC is adapting global positioning technology, a space-based navigation system, to Forest Service requirements. They're working with manufacturers to develop portable, easy-to-use equipment suitable for typical field conditions and tasks. Development work is not a precise science, but rather a practical approach to problem solving. The right environment and the right tools are essential. While office and laboratory space for MTDC is currently located at Fort Missoula, supporting fabrication shops and warehouses are 3 miles away, impeding efficient operations. The main building is a 60-year-old fire trap. The cost of bringing it into compliance with safety codes far exceeds the value of the building. Even if the buildings were remodeled, space would still not be sufficient. Laboratories, shops, and offices are totally inadequate for a unit charged with national problem solving.
We're in the Missoula Center's textile development shop. As you can see, it's a real small working area. It's basically a one-person shop. It'd be nice when we're doing larger manufacturing projects to have 2 or 3 people working down here, but size and space just prohibits it just to one person. We are in the basement. We have real poor ventilation down here. There's only one exit. The exit and the entrance are the same. Emergency egress would be all very, very tough. Storage space is very, very minimum here. As you can see, we have things stacked on each other. There's no room to move, very little room to get around. Very poor ventilation. We do have a hot knife for burning nylon materials here, and very poor ventilation for good air.
Successful technology development requires an integrated team of specialists. The proposed center includes the flexible environment these specialists need to do their tasks, including offices and conference center, testing and development laboratories, fabrication shop facilities. With this building project, the employees of the Missoula Technology and Development Center will be united in one location and in close proximity to research scientists and fire operations specialists who are vital to their many development projects. The Aerial Fire Depot, dedicated by President Eisenhower in 1954, has been training and deploying smoke jumpers, firefighters, and their equipment from this location for 35 years. The AFD today has become a multifaceted organization with many interrelated activities working together for the common goal: emergency services. The Incident Coordination Center, a national fire cache, aviation operations, the aviation program, and the Northern Training Center and the supporting administrative staff make up the Aerial Fire Depot. Working together and with other U.S. and Canadian agencies, these units of the AFD facilitate the movement of personnel, equipment, and materials to fire and emergency situations. During periods of large or multiple incident situations, like the '88 fire season, the training center converts into RICO, the Regional Interagency Incident Coordination Organization. The Smoke Jumper Loft and National Weather Service building currently house many operational units. In January 1993, the National Weather Service will reclaim the space they originally constructed, now occupied by the Incident Coordination Center. Remodeling the loft building to accommodate the Coordination Center before January 1993 is crucial. The kind and number of items stored at the National Fire Cache for immediate response to all types of emergencies have increased vastly over the last 10 years. With GSA out of the warehouse business, on-site storage is even more critical.
Right now, our normal unit strength, we're right at where we're supposed to be, and in most cases, we're probably a little bit over. And what it forces us to do is our aisleways are getting packed with items that are beyond our needs. We're trying to get them excessed out of here, send them to other caches, or excess them to field or whatever. And you can see that some of the stuff is in the aisleways, and if we have an emergency such as a hurricane in South Carolina, you'll find that we can't get at some of the things we need to get these things out the door in a hurry.
Another major problem involves large, heavy, jet prop and jet aircraft, which are being used more and more for fire operations and must be stored on the Missoula International Airport's parking aprons. This is both inefficient for emergency response and hazardous at times. The Airport Authority has requested that the AFD upgrade its aircraft parking to handle these large aircraft. In the meantime, steel plates must be placed under the tires of heavier retardant aircraft to prevent them from breaking through the existing pavement at the aerial fire depot. Moving thousands of interagency firefighters, supplies, and retardant to and from fires requires a facility streamlined for efficiency. The remodeling and additions for the AFD are designed to solve critical OSHA deficiencies, increase operational efficiency, and meet the Missoula County Airport Authority's requirement to improve aircraft ground operations. Improvements include smoke jumper loft additions and remodeling, fire cache additions and remodeling, training center and business office additions, aviation-related facilities, retardant and maintenance facilities. The AFD must act soon to be a good neighbor with both the National Weather Service and the Missoula International Airport. To attract and retain the most promising young scientists and technicians, the Forest Service must successfully compete with the best the private sector has to offer. It must be sensitive to the needs of working parents and be committed to the growing emphasis on employee health and physical fitness. Part of the smoke jumper's job requirements includes participation in an hour-long daily exercise program. The planned fitness center would serve these functions, as well as provide a testing and training area for firefighter health and fitness research and development projects. The existing kitchen serves thousands of meals to interagency firefighters each season. It needs major remodeling to meet current OSHA requirements for safety and health. For 30 years, a temporary visitors center at the AFD has been providing the public information about smoke jumping and Forest Service programs. The center, near Interstate 90 and midway between Yellowstone and Glacier National Parks, attracts 25,000 visitors each year.
This is the Smoke Jumper Visitor Center, and some of the problems that we're having with the center is the population has increased. We initially had 9,000 people back in the 60s, and now we're running about 25,000 people meeting visitors. And we've had very little advertisement, and this has just steadily increased year after year. The type of people who are coming are about half are senior citizens and handicapped, and the facilities being built in the 60s don't accommodate their special needs as far as stairways and bathrooms and what have you. The displays. Number one, we want to update our displays, which are behind me. And number two, we would like to increase the amount of displays to help not only sell the Forest Service story, but also sell several other stories that are involved.
The existing 35-year-old fire depot and lab complex is large by Forest Service standards. Site utilities and infrastructure such as the electrical distribution system, the sewage disposal system, and water system are all in need of improvements. City sewer is now available nearby. Parking for the fire lab and the AFD is limited and only partially paved. Heavy truck traffic traveling next to the fire lab causes problems with delicate instrumentation, creates serious safety hazards for pedestrians, and raises dust and dirt on the unpaved areas. The proposed improvements reflect needed additions that can be shared by all 3 units at the Missoula Fire and Technology Center. A complex that houses almost 400 people needs special support services and infrastructure that makes everything else work. In addition to utilities, roads, parking, and landscaping, other common use facilities include Forest Service Visitor Information Center, Food Service Facility, Daycare and Fitness Center. The concept of the Missoula Fire and Technology Center depends on support services, for it is these functions that make this a truly integrated and cost-efficient center. Through the proposed center, the staffs at the Intermountain Fire Sciences Laboratory, the Missoula Technology and Development Center, and the Aerial Fire Depot share a vision for the future, a vision based on working together and making the most of limited resources. But they can't do it alone, and they can't do it in pieces. Either option would simply be too expensive. These organizations must have adequate facilities if they are to continue meeting the needs of the nation. In the process, they will continue to provide the quality services upon which the Forest Service and the nation depend.